All right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining today for Case Studies in Daylighting. It's presented by the team at DALYTE. We've got Ted Wyatt here today who's going to be giving our product presentation. Before we go ahead and get started with that portion of today's event, we're going to do a quick intro, tell you guys a little bit about Acelab. We are helping out with hosting today's webinar, show you how to find information from today's presenters on Acelab if you've got some additional questions after today's event, and then give you a little sneak preview of some of the stuff that we have coming up. So Helen, feel free to take it away whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Thank you, Bo. Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. I'm Helen. I'm Acelab's Director of Architect Experience. And today I'm going to talk about a few things within the platform, what to expect from this webinar as kind of the follow-up. So first thing I'll say is from the homepage here, if you want to learn a little bit more about DALYTE, you can always type the brand name in, make sure you have brand selected here, and then you can jump into their page. Here you're going to see images. See here that they're based in the West, where they ship to. You can connect to get questions as well. We're also going to have their products here. So what you can do with these is that you can save these in to say, I'll do this actually today. I'm going to save these into my general research folders here. All their different products. This will allow you to then also compare and contrast them. So I'll go ahead and jump into what this looks like here. But great spot. You know, they have a lot of options. So see more. We can save 36 different skylights here if we want to and compare them within our project folder. So just scrolling on down, lots of options. Again, you'll see some inspiration as well. Now I'm going to jump into just show you all what this looks like as a comparison. Here as this loads, I'll also talk about what to expect after this webinar. So my colleague Evelyn will be creating connection for y'all. You'll see that in your workspace here. You'll go to conversations and you'll be able to connect with Ted and his team directly. So that's something that'll happen. You'll get an email when that conversation has been started. And that's a great spot to look into that information and connect whatever you might have, questions, technical information. Ted will be sending that to you via your conversation in Acelab. You can also respond from your inbox. You don't have to come back to the platform, and the record of that will also be kept there in your conversations. So that's some notes. Looks like I might be having a slow load here, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into talk about what's coming, save y'all some time. So comparisons, this exists currently in Acelab. If you haven't played with it yet, strongly encourage you to do so. Our team basically will decide, based on what category you're looking at, what's important. We'll be able to put all this information here for you, generating really nice side-by-side comparisons. So this currently exists in the platform. What I'm here to tell you about today too, aside from how to connect with Ted, is what's coming out. So what's coming out is everything you've saved in comparisons, you'll be able to generate a schedule from. This is all custom, so you can make this work for your firm however you need. Popular idea is to have, your internal working view where you might have information about, which other projects you've used, say the DALYTE skylights on, which reps you're working with, reference pictures, things like that. So that can be your internal view, and then you can also have an external view. Views can be saved. You can export maybe that external view as a CSV and drop it into your documentation sets. So again, all this is custom for you. We know architects all have their own way of doing things, so we want to make sure that you are accommodated for there. Also with this, on the heels of this is going to be our spec planner. This is going to come out as well. I like to think of this essentially as a to-do list. So, as I'm scrolling through here, I've got all of my products selected for these different categories, but we still need to figure out what metal shingles we're using. Our team can go and find those, save those into our project, and we'll have that as well. Last little note about this that we're really excited to bring you is the idea of setting up a firm library. And then from that library, you can say, hey, I love these three products. They're going to be great for this next project. You can select them, and then you'll be able to copy and paste those into your new project. So that's a lot of what we're building, is not only a great spot for you to find products, connect with reps, but also to help you on the documentation end of things. So if you want to meet with me, I love talking to folks. I love learning about their firm and also proposing different ways you can use Acelab as a business development tool, improve client relationships, how to make communication with your contractor a little bit better. All those things we can talk about. So I'll put my meeting link in, and otherwise I'll pass it back over and keep an eye out for a conversation from my colleague Evelyn. And yeah, that's all from me today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Helen. Feel free to respond yes to the poll if you want to connect with Helen to learn a little bit more about using Acelab and gain access to some of those tools as an early adopter. And she'll also throw her meeting link in the chat. So if you want to just book directly, you can do that as well. Few housekeeping items from me. Just want to really encourage folks to please submit any questions or comments to the Q&A throughout today's presentation. We'll have some time to get to some of those questions live. And if we don't get to your question live today, we'll have a record of it so we can follow up after today's event. Other than that, I just want to thank everyone so much for coming out today. We appreciate your attendance. And Ted, whenever you're ready, feel free to share your screen and go ahead and get started.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah, thank you for that. So I'm Ted Wyatt. I'm with DALYTE Skylights. We're based in Denver, Colorado. And so this is going to be a case study in daylighting. So we'll kind of start with just kind of intro about our company. So we were formerly AIA Industries for 40 years. We're a family-owned business. I've been here 20 plus years. We're currently DALYTE. We have a new owners group, and of course a lot of companies, when you have that new group of owners, they like to rebrand and new literature and a new name and interesting way to spell daylight. So that's how daylight came about. Again, we like to say we offer a single source responsibility. So in-house we design, manufacture, and install. So we have a team of installers and we travel nationwide. Again, we manufacture everything in-house here in Colorado. And again, we have a team of designers and engineers, so we can provide nationwide stamp calcs as well. So again, for architects, we feel that's a big benefit over our competition nationwide, that we do everything in-house. So some of the objectives we're going to hit on, or hopefully learn today, just overall knowledge of importance of daylighting, general education on the various types of skylights. We're going to go through all the different type of glazing options, from glass to polycarbonate to UV or by PV. And then we're going to kind of go through some different design possibilities as well. So as far as natural daylight and health benefits, there's tons of studies out there. I will say this presentation right now is not AIA accredited. So if we were, probably the next half hour I would spend on benefits of natural daylighting and go through all the test data, which is great, but to some that might put you to sleep after about 30 minutes. But there's a lot of things you can find out there as far as how vitamin D helps, and as far as depression. I think all of us know it's a nice, clear, sunny day. It just feels more positive than a gray kind of cloudy day. I grew up in Chicago area, so I know all about like gray, nasty winters. Moving to Colorado, still nicer out here. So I'm sure we have a group, nationwide, east to west coast. So I think we all understand that. So again, there's a lot of studies about how daylight, improves, efficiency in the workspace and interaction, between coworkers, those of us that are still in office setting, and even remote. So again, there's, this Mahone group study about daylighting in schools, and there was one about Walmart and improve spending and shopping. So again, there's a lot of data out there about just the benefits of natural daylighting. One benefit, of course, that I think many know already are the lead points that can be achieved through adding natural daylighting, whether it's skylights, clear stories, translucent wall panels, in any type of daylighting. There's a lot of areas and groups within the lead projects that you can earn points. So, I can touch on that further, if people have questions. But again, a lot of points can be gained through natural daylighting. So now we're going to touch, so DALYTE has, our basic product lines are structural skylights, canopies, eco wall translucent wall panels, and unit skylights, which are the typical kind of bubble curb mount skylights. So when it comes to structural skylights, it can be lean-tos, ridges, pyramids, really kind of any shape or any form. And then our canopy structures, typically supported by others, steel, concrete, wood glue lambs, that kind of scenario. And we have our translucent wall panels, just vertical only. And again, the unit skylights, your typical kind of dome units, circular, rectangle, with or without fall screens. So our structural skylights are units, they are available in structural configuration or a non-structural, like a skin system, which would utilize more in like a canopy type scenario. So with either system, it accommodates really any glazing type, whether it's glass, multi-wall polycarbonate, bi-PV panels, or even acrylic. Again, any type, any thickness as well. So we stock our extrusion in clear and dark bronze anodize, but we can also powder coat and kind our finish to really any color that your project requires. Our systems are fully tested for air, water, and structural per all the ASTM standard tests. And then there's a variety of custom glazing options to meet whatever your local energy code requirements are. So here's a couple just kind of our general details on a gable ridge. The bottom right shows our standard kind of rafter detail. So what you're seeing there is our typical 3x3 aluminum tube. And then depending on the span down slope and the snow or wind load, that tube depth will change from a 3 to 4 to a 10 or 12-inch deep tube, just as required. And we can also add a steel insert, for very large span type of structures. So now I'm going to hit on a couple of case studies. So this is our state capitol here in Denver. So we replace all the old existing steel framed wire glass skylights and replaced them with a new modern insulated aluminum structure. But since it was a historic building, historic structure, of course, we had to kind of maintain or kind of duplicate the look of the old steel kind of frame, which were narrow bays, a lot of divisions. So you see, a lot of divisions and then some false horizontal purlins just to kind of give that kind of small bay look, which they originally had to hit, the historic requirements. And I added this page. My brother's architect, so I definitely appreciate some of these details. I had access to the original hand-drawn drawings, architectural drawings for the Capitol. So I just found really interesting some of the details, some of the columns, like all hand-drawn, all the connections, the steel rivets, just all hand-drawn in section and colored. So definitely very unique, just the level of detail, that, they used to hand-drawn back in the day. So this project, this is DU Engineering Building. It's a small college campus in the middle of Denver here. So this is a half round dome structure with a segmented single slope. And what's unique about this project is we had to create kind of a segmented single slope to run down slope to, kind of hit the half round radius, which is tricky for a, flat sectional single slope skylight. So it came out very nice. One big challenge was the roof and our skylight was all clad with leaded copper. So if anyone's familiar, that material is extremely soft and difficult to work with. So Next project, this is Denver Botanic Gardens. We've completed a lot of work out at the Botanic Gardens. So this is a large ridge unit just completed in the last 2 years. Something unique about this, it's a very large span down slope. So this is a ridge that's 25 foot down slope. So we used a 6-inch deep aluminum rafter, but we did have a steel midspan purlin to help support. So rather than using a 12-inch deep tube, we're able to just use a 6-inch due to the steel midspan support. The glass on this job was a special frit pattern to kind of give, it had like a leaf look, as you can kind of see on the upper right, you know, they had the steel structure that tried to create this, you know, kind of canopy, kind of tree look. So this is Octagon in Kissimmee, Florida. So this one, we supplied stamped calcs to show that it would withstand hurricane rated wind loads at 165 mile per hour. So our units, we do not have a true hurricane rated unit. So if you're in Miami or Dade County, you know, right now we do not have a unit we can provide that has true hurricane rated calculations. So, you know, Dade County and some of the Florida and even some of the coastal areas in Texas. So, but through structural calcs and stamped calcs, we can show that our units can withstand the wind loads. So this one was unique at 165 mile per hour. The unit actually had almost a 500-pound uplift from those forces. So again, we specialize commercial and residential. So we do a lot of high-end residential jobs here in Colorado, Vail, Aspen, and nationwide. And then commercial jobs, schools, rec centers, hospitals. So we provide to homeowners, roofers, GCs, we'll sold direct to architects. So we provide really any kind of unit. We're 100% custom. We ship nationwide. So, you know, we always say, you know, whatever architects can dream of, you know, we can manufacture. So this project here, this is a residence in New York. So this was a gable ridge. This unit was 18-foot down slope. So we utilize a 12-inch deep aluminum tube, as well as a steel ridge beam that helped with just the overall loading and the compression at the ridge. You know, there's a lot of uses for skylights beyond just natural daylighting. This one was installed and was supplied and installed just to protect the sculpture you see. I was told it's $1 million plus sculpture. So this is a residence in Aspen. So on this project, we provided a single slope lean-to at ground level, which you see on the left there. And below that is a 7-foot walkable unit. So on the right is a circular walkable. Unfortunately, the photo you see wasn't completely finished, so it, you know, would have been the floor added flush with the skylight. And in the summer, they actually remove the skylight and allow, you know, more sun and fresh air to get down to this lower level. So this house from the outside, all you see is an old historic, you know, kind of farmhouse, you know, at grade. And what they did is they dug down 4 to 5 stories, 50 foot down below grade, and that's where they developed. So the skylight at ground level gets light down to the walkable. That's, you know, 1 story down, and that gets light down to the further levels. And this house is owned by a certain basketball player. His name might be something like LeBron. So we always joke. So, you know, you walk by this house and you have no idea that, you know, 2, 3 to 4 levels down, there's a lap pool, there's a basketball court, a gym, and a nightclub all underground. So, you know, you probably walk by, feel the ground rumble, and have no idea the scene going on below. So very, very unique project. So canopies. Let's go that direction. So here's one we just completed last year. This is National Jewish Hospital. So it's a segmented canopy. This is our applied system. So it's a skin system that's sitting on top of a steel structure by others. So you can see very colorful glass. We also utilize that kind of glass pattern in the curtain wall and storefront that you see behind the canopy. So very nice project. There was actually 2 of these, so came out very nice. This is a group of canopies. These are all RTD stations. The ones on the right, those run from Denver up to Boulder, for those who are familiar with our area. So those are standing seam polycarb glazed on the right. So it's kind of like a standing seam metal roof, but it's polycarbonate sheet. And then on the left, that's all butt glazed aluminum, butt glazed glass sitting in a steel structure. So again, just a couple different options as far as canopy structures and glazing. This is a project, University of Colorado Hospital. There's actually 3 of these canopies. So again, this is a similar standing seam polycarbonate sheet. And in that sheet, it's a single sheet running down slope that's about 31 foot long. So again, what's nice is a seamless glazing, so you don't have any butt joints, no possibility of leaking where, those joints are butted together. And it's a type of system you just work left to right and it snaps together. So it's a really nice system. And they actually just demoed half of one of the canopies to erect a new building. And now we went back and replaced that canopy that they demoed. So kind of interesting. And then our eco-wall system. So for those that are familiar with Cal-Wall or major industries, the fiberglass system, we're a rep for probably 10 plus years for major industries. Just for various reasons, we prefer polycarbonate, just due to some of the yellowing and the fiber bloom, just some of the issues we had with fiberglass. We really like the polycarbonate. One, you can cut in the field, it's not like a fiberglass panel or like a glass unit where you have to order and it comes specific size. This you can cut in the shop, in the field, very versatile, has a 10-year warranty for hail breakage. And we have not had the yellowing issue like we had with other products. So with this system, what you just only have a perimeter aluminum frame that's thermally broke with the Insobar technology. We stock it in clear and dark bronze anodized, but it can also be powder coated and Kynar finished as well. And we typically use a 40 millimeter 7-wall polycarb. And that glazing is stocked in opal and clear, but you can also get in greens and blues and custom colors. It just depends on the project, and there is a minimum square footage to run, a purple or a specific color. So one of their standard colors is this green, and they also have like a matte finish. So this is a local Greenwood Village Public Works. So there's about 7 buildings we install this product on. And one thing I like to point out, the lower pictures you see, that's a sand and salt storage building. And what's nice is you can literally just wrap the entire building with a system. So again, you can see for the most part, just a perimeter frame. In some areas we did a butt joint for expansion. But again, you have a single panel running from head to sill. About every 10 foot vertically, depends on the wind load, we do need a horizontal purlin. So you can kind of see that on the top right. They have a pretty heavy duty wood structure, actually more than we needed, but again, a great system. This is Red Rocks Community College. What I'd like to kind of highlight on this is, if you look at that kind of top right picture, so the corner of the gymnasium, that's a 27 foot tall span. So again, single run of the polycarbonate sheet. The sheet itself is about 2 foot wide and it's tongue and groove. So it just snaps together. You just work left to right. And again, we just need interior purlins about every 8 to 10 feet horizontally. So on this job, the architect actually added more purlins than required. And those were to kind of line up with some of the surrounding storefront and window systems. There's a project called Carrel Trade Center. This is actually right across the highway from our office here. And what you see here, this is just one of about 7 buildings that we did. There was about 12,000 square feet total of glazing. And again, just kind of want to point out, you can see on the top photo, EcoWall, it has a really clean kind of new, kind of appearance to it. It does not have the grid look that some are used to or like, from Cowall or Major, the fiberglass manufacturer. That it's just that kind of clean run with a perimeter frame. So no divisions. I mean, we can add, separations if you're looking for like aluminum grid look, but typically you just have this kind of clean run of glazing. So something unique on this project, they wanted to maintain, you see that picture, the lower picture, the old kind of steel windows, the industrial look. So they broke out all the old wire glass, sandblasted, painted the old steel frames, and then we applied our system to the exterior and utilized some of that steel structure as our purlin support as needed. And again, we just attached our frame to the existing old steel kind of window system. So from the outside, you have that kind of clean look. From the inside, you have this nice kind of industrial, kind of old historic look. So that was our EcoWall system. So again, we manufacture typical dome skylights. We have a line of circulars that you'll see, on our profile page. Those come in a specific model sizes, roughly 2 foot up to 8 foot diameter. Again, there's about six or 7 model sizes. So the units that come with a 9-inch tall fiberglass curb, you're locked in to those dimensions. But any other units, the typical bubble skylights, we just manufacture per order. So we can make any size that's required. And we have a large oven, so we can form like a 6 by 12 foot bubble, like you see on the top right, if that's something you're looking for. So again, vault type skylights, you see, bottom left, bottom right, top left. The top left unit that's glazed with a polycarb multi-wall material. So again, kind of older look, it's, the acrylic vault, that's more, I feel, kind of 70s, kind of retro style, but we still see them out there. We still manufacture and supply them. So this is our local botanic gardens. So these kind of diamond shapes you see on their greenhouse structure, we were the original manufacturers of those back in the 70s. So we still replace them as required as huge hailstorms kind of sweep through every few years. So a very unique project, and we're definitely a good customer of theirs. So we're always working on our current systems, trying to implement, better technology, Insulbar technology within our frames to help the overall system U value. It's definitely something that started a few years ago, and I see it nationwide as well. Some of the energy requirements as far as low system U values. So currently, with our current technology and some of the added foam perimeters, with a triple pane argon fill, our skylight system, we can hit a 0.35 system U value. So, for a skylight system, that's a very good system U value. Doors and windows, you can get down into 0.12, 0.19, but typically codes require a 0.5 or lower. So we're well within requirements, and then even outperform that. So that's kind of an overview of our company and what we can offer. Was there any general questions or?
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for that, Ted. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to submit them to the Q&A. You can also raise your hand if you've got a question that feels a bit easier to ask out loud, and you do not have to turn your video on. So no need to be too nervous about doing that, but sometimes it's a little bit easier to, kind of ask the question out loud and be able to chat a little bit back and forth. So you're welcome to do that as well if you would like. while we wait to see if there are any questions, I'm going to do a quick recap for some of the folks who might have joined a bit later, to let you know a great way to go get some questions answered if you have anything that comes up after today's event. All right, so while I do that, one moment and I'll share my screen. All right, great. Is everybody seeing my screen okay? Cool. Awesome. So anyone who's signed up for today's webinar automatically has a free Acelab account made for you. You can come back here at any time to check out all of the free resources that we have. Also, Helen, who gave this quick intro at the beginning, is our Director of Architect Experience. If you check in the chat, she did leave her meeting link there, so you can schedule a quick 15-minute intro with her to learn some more about using all of our various resources here. But just want to show you guys how to get in touch with today's presenters if you have any questions that come up after today's event while you're kind of digesting the information that we covered here today, or you just want to explore a little bit more about their products. So anytime you know the manufacturer you're looking for, you can use this search bar at the top to type in their name. Make sure you're selected on brands here, and then you can just pop over to their brand page on Acelab. Scrolling down here, you can use this button at the top to request additional information. That'll create a conversation for you in your Acelab account. Looks like I froze a bit. So that'll create a conversation for you in your Acelab account with the DALYTE team, and you can use that to chat back and forth about, any projects that you have coming up, general information you're looking for. You'll get email notifications about those conversations, and you can actually reply directly to that email too. So it works really well with the rest of your communication. And then scrolling down here, you have the ability to save these products to your projects. So that's a great way to store information for later. And that'll also store it in a handy comparison table. We're able to kind of compare products apples to apples with each other. So we've got a bunch of great information here on Acelab for you to be able to save into your projects, store for later, and explore a little bit more about some of the products that we covered today. So this is a great place to come after today's event to learn a little bit more about the topics that we covered today. And there's a lot of great solutions here from the DALYTE team. So if you get to this page and you're not quite sure which solution to go to, you can either reach out to the DALYTE team directly by clicking this button at the top. We also have a live chat here. This is staffed by a real person from Acelab's team, usually Helen, who, if you're here at the start, you got to meet her. So this will put you in touch directly with somebody who can help you out if you're, getting overwhelmed looking at all these skylight options and you need some additional support. We're here to help and, be able to help you identify the best products for your projects. So feel free to use this live chat here anytime you've got some questions and want to just get in touch with Acelab's team directly. All right, and if you do use this button to reach out and create a conversation, just want to show you really quick where that lives. Over here in your workspace, you have your projects, your conversations, and your products. You probably won't have over 100 conversations. That's just for me, but you can tab over here. This will show you all of the conversations that you've got started, tagged by project. So if you've started it under a specific project, you'll be able to see that information there as well. All right, awesome. I will momentarily throw a link in the chat for that page so that you can get to it quickly in case you have any follow-up questions after today's webinar. Right. Let me see. No questions. Oh, must be a quiet crowd. Okay, we've got one coming in. I'm gonna say this is, let's see. Okay, awesome. Are the products available in Canada?
So we do ship to Canada, but again, yeah, we manufacture here in Colorado. You just kind of have to, that NAFTA, some of the, the shipping and the border issues can be challenging. It hasn't been as bad as it was, a number of years ago, but yes, we've shipped to Canada.
Okay, awesome.
And we have a good customer in Puerto Rico. I just sold a project in St. Croix, so yeah, I mean, we can ship, wherever people are willing to pay to ship.
Cool. That was going to be my follow-up question. Are there any regions that you don't ship? But yeah, it sounds like as long as you're kind of keeping shipping costs into account,
Correct.
Awesome. All right. I just posted the link to the DALYTE page on Acelab in the chat, so feel free to grab that before you head out for today. And that's a great place to go ask any follow-up questions. I also want to let folks know there's going to be a quick post-event survey. If you have a moment to leave some feedback there, list any additional questions that you might have on that survey as well. That's super helpful for us to be able to keep bringing you information that's relevant to you. So we'd appreciate if you can take just a moment to fill that out. It's just a few questions. All right. Looks like other than that, I'm just seeing great info reviews and thank yous in the Q&A. So it sounds like you did a great job covering the information, Ted.
Great. Thank you.
Questions in the coming days as folks start to digest this. But looks like we might be able to let folks go a little bit early. So hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Thursday and wins back a little bit of time here in the day. And thank you so much, Ted, for such a great comprehensive review of the products that you offer.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Hope everybody has a great day.